Well, I thought this game was a great opportunity for a lot of different reasons. One, we're playing a great Coastal Carolina team that really been playing well of late, and I think is probably going to have a tremendous second half of the season because they're so dang talented and got some great relief pitching, and their starters had great years last year. I know they've been struggling a little bit, but they have the makings of a regional host type team. And with their RPI as high as it is, and our RPI in a pretty good shape, I thought it was a pretty good. I thought it would be an important game for a lot of different reasons if both teams continue to play well. And so it was good to come out with the win. I think Taylor got us off to a good start and pitched very, very well. I think he got tired a little bit there, in his last couple of hitters, but he threw the ball well. He was much more efficient than he's been. He had much more command of the strike zone, and that's a big boost to our pitching staff from a depth standpoint to have Taylor throwing well. And then our other guys cleaned the game up and finished it off and got some big outs there when they had some runners on. And Josh Reagan was terrific at the end of the game. And Josh, he passed a kidney stone last night, and he's got another one he's got to pass, and he's out there pitching for his team. And tells you all you need to know about that kid. And he's just a tough nut that wanted the ball in his hands for his teammates, even though he was struggling. And he win with kids like that. That was certainly impressive. So it was a big win for us, and now we can have a couple of good days of practice and get ready for another big SEC weekend.
You kind of alluded to it, but Taylor said that he felt as comfortable that he's been all year out there today. It's very important for you going forward, but how nice is it to see from your vantage point that he's kind of getting to that form?
I thought he made some really good pitches, and I thought he was in command. And I don't know if he's been in command as much earlier in his starts as he was tonight. And a lot of it just had to do with he's ahead of the hitters, and he's got a great arm, and if he's 0-1 and 1-2 on hitters, he can get a lot of guys out. If it's 2-0 and 3-1, they're going to put some good swings on him, and I think he's learning that. He's evolving, he's growing as a pitcher, and that was big for us. Now you feel better about using him on the weekend now, just because I think he's more confident, and only threw 70 pitches. We'll see how he bounces back come Thursday, if he'll be available Saturday and Sunday maybe, and maybe he can help us get some big outs over the weekend. So he's a big part of our pitching staff. We need him to pitch well to be the team that we want to be. And so it was good to see him perform tonight.
Teams have played in a lot of close games as of late, it seems like. What's that say about your team, and how do you think that's going to benefit them later on in the season?
Well, all the teams in our league and the teams that have been on our schedule of late are just so evenly matched. So games are going to be close, and you have to win with good defense and some really good pitching, and you have to get some guys out with runners in scoring position, and you got to make your best pitches when the game's on the line. You got to have some intangibles. Some winning intangibles that'll make a difference in you having a good year or a great year. And hopefully we're finding out we got some pretty good intangibles in our team and on our locker room, and we'll continue to build off that. But, a lot of games going, from this point toward the end of the season are going to be, I can't say what I call the games, but they're tight games. And you live and die about every pitch, and every pitch the game's on the line you feel, because the teams are so evenly matched, and you got to out-tough some people, you got to out-execute some people, and your will to win's got to be stronger than your opponent. If it is, you'll win your fair share.
Looking at their offensive numbers are pretty impressive. Were you pleased with your staff to be able to keep them to 2 runs and 5 hits? Is that a realistic expectation going into this one?
Well, it was a hard night to hit for both teams. One, it was cold and the wind was blowing straight in, and you couldn't hit them. You couldn't hit a ball twice and hit it out of the park tonight. So it was a lot different. Probably our park was playing a lot different than what their park plays. So I figured it was going to be a 3-2, 2-1, 4-3 type game, just based on the conditions. Because when the wind's blowing in that direction at this stadium, it's hard to score. And that was the case tonight. But yeah, our pitching staff was terrific, and they got a few big outs there when I guess they had to win and run in scoring position there at one point when it was 3-2, and we got out of that. And so we made a couple big pitches when we had to. We didn't play a perfect game by any stretch, but we did enough to beat a really quality team that I think is going to be it'll be a good feather in our cap from a resume standpoint, hopefully, on down the road.
How nice is it to be able to have Madison Stokes back at your disposal?
Well, that was one of the things that I think stood out to me about the whole game. Besides Josh Reagan's performance and Widener's, Madison Stokes looked like a big leaguer in there to me tonight. I mean, he squared up balls, and the ball was flying off his bat, and he brings us something from a bat speed standpoint, a physicality standpoint, an explosive athlete standpoint that makes us more formidable offensively, especially when we have Destino in there. And in the middle of our lineup with Jones, Dom, and Stokes, and Destino, that's a different deal. I mean, that's you have to pick your poison there. And if he's swinging it the way he swung it tonight, so I was really happy and pleased with the way he swung it. And he certainly, I'm not playing him right now because just to get him some cracks. I'm playing him because I think he's going to be a big part of things as we go forward.
Kind of two questions. Would it be nice to have another right-handed hitter in there to kind of break it up? And then just the second part, where do you kind of look at to try to get him on the field if that's the way it ends up going?
Well, I mean, there's a number of different things that I can do. But, yes, another right-handed hitter in between Dom and Destino is important, I think. And I don't know how the order I don't know when I'm going to put him in there or how the order will be. But he certainly – is a guy that can square balls up and do damage from an extra base hit standpoint, which we are lacking a little bit on our infield. I don't have to show you the stats. I mean, it's not like our infielders bang the ball around. They get some hits, but they don't knock the walls down. Well, Madison can split some alleys, and he can hit a few balls out of the park, and he can increase our extra base hit total. So, but I can move him. I can play Madison at second. I can DH him from time to time. I can play him at third. And when I look at Madison and DC and Jonah, that's three guys that can play. Obviously, they all have different strengths. I can't play them all in the infield at the same time per se, but they are all big parts of the team. They're all going to be big contributors to our team. They all can get in there from time to time. But there might be a rotation a little bit there because I don't like Madison sitting on the bench just because I like his physicality and the explosive bat speed that he has.